One of my favorite things in the world to do is watch Friends. I know it's been off for years and years. It's not even around, but I still find myself binge watching old episodes. And I was thinking about this today and thinking, it's the predictability of the friends in the circle, right? You have Chandler with his quirkiness, Monica with her type A of just everything has to be so neat and tidy and organized. It's Phoebe's ability to make you laugh at her silly songs. Ross always comes in with those smart comments, and Joey and him and his food, like it is just so hilarious. And of course, Rachel, she just brings everybody together, and it's just such this beautiful, cohesive team of people. And it's why I wanted to come on and share with you today that I have an opportunity for you to find your friends in the content creation space. So if you are thinking about creating your first or your next digital course, I don't want you to miss this opportunity because Amy Porterfield just opened the doors for registration for her Course Confident Bootcamp. And I'm actually offering a special bonus for anyone that registers for the Course Confident Bootcamp through my special link. So I want you to go to krystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp to register. That's krystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp. And what you're going to find when you get there is I have this special bonus private podcast series. It's called Money Mindset for Creators. So I want you to go register for Amy's bootcamp, download the podcast, and immediately start listening to it, because what this training is set up to do is to help you get your mind right about monetizing your content, making money so that you can fuel your content creation dreams. So go to krystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp to register for Course Confident. And I cannot wait for you to find your friends and find the people that will be there for you. Do you see what I did there? Yeah, nice little friends segue connection. Go to krystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp. And I cannot wait to see you inside. Okay, let's get into today's episode. You have asked for it, and it is finally here. The 5 ways to monetize your podcast. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to dive into this because I get asked all the time, how do you make money with a podcast? So I'm going to dive into the 5 ways that you can start making money with your podcast on day 1. Day 1. Yes, it is possible to start making money with your podcast on day 1 before you ever even have raving fans and people that are just like begging, like, when is your next content going to come out? So I'm excited to share those with you today. So let's get right to it. Welcome to the Profit Podcast, where we teach entrepreneurs how to start, launch, and market their podcast. I'm your host, Krystal Profit, and I'm so excited that you're here. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Because if you've been thinking about creating a podcast for a while, well, I'm so glad you found this show. Think of this as the shortcut / time-saving version of searching Google and YouTube for hours and hours trying to figure out the world of podcasting. Trust me, as a busy mama of 3, I get it. You don't have a lot of time to be spent or wasted, I should say, searching the web, trying to find all the right ideas and all the amazing things that are out there, and you just end up overwhelmed. Trust me, I've been there, done that, took home the souvenir. But this podcast is going to help you in practical ways because twice a week we'll be delivering episodes that are going to give you steps to help you create a podcast your audience can't wait to listen to. So let's get right to it, shall we? Have you been wanting to start a podcast? You've been thinking about it. It feels right. You just know this is the next thing that my business needs. Well, I encourage you to sign up for my 5-day podcast bootcamp. This is a thing that you have been looking for. It is a 5-day video series where I walk you through exactly how to start, launch, and market your podcast. And I throw in some more information about planning strategies and being consistent and how you can make the most out of your podcast from day one. So sign up for our 5-day Create Your Podcast Bootcamp at krystalprofit.com/podcastbootcamp. And do it already. You know that you've been wanting to, so just bite the bullet and join us. So like I said in the beginning, I get asked all the time. Well, hang on, let me back up. The first question that people ask me all the time is, how do you start a podcast? And then the next question is, how do you make money with a podcast? And I'm sure that there are millions of ways that you can make money podcasting. But today, I wanted to share with you the 5 ways that you can start making money with your podcast that don't require millions of downloads, because I feel like that is kind of the mindset, I guess, that a lot of people have, is like, well, I'm not going to make any money until I have millions and millions and millions of downloads every single month. And then like you kind of get into this cycle. It's like a downward spiral, right? Like if you're just starting, you only have a few listeners, maybe you have, let's just say you have 100 downloads and you're just a few episodes in, and you're kind of discouraged if you think, gosh, I'm never going to monetize my podcast. It's never going to happen for me. I don't want you to feel that way. I want you to know that you can start making money from day one. And if you've already started your podcast, then you can implement some of these strategies today to start making money with your podcast. So let's just get into them. And I'm really excited to share. I'm going to throw in some personal stories of things that I've done with this podcast. And I hope that you explore all of these, because you can definitely try some of them out. Maybe some of them are for you, maybe they're not. But let's just dive into every single one. So the first one is listener-sponsored membership sites. I know it's kind of a mouthful, but listener-sponsored membership sites. So have you heard of Patreon.com? So what Patreon is it is a platform where you can create a totally free membership site that you can start earning like steady monthly income for your podcast. So members can pay a monthly rate between, I want to say you can start as low as $1. And I don't even know that there's a maximum that you can go up to. I mean, if someone's going to pay $5,000 a month, then, more power to them. I don't pay $5,000 a month to anything like that. But, I think that it's really cool that you can charge a monthly fee to your members and give them content that is for members only. Like, you don't put that anywhere else. It's not in your newsletter. It's not on your Facebook group. It's not on your Instagram. It's not on your website. Like, it's not anywhere else. It is strictly for your members. So I want to, I'm mentioning these things, I want to give you a pro and a con to all of these different ways of making money, because I've seen it both ways and all of them have a pro and a con. So before you start thinking, okay, I need to do this one, I need to do that one, I want you to really consider your podcast, your listeners, and the time that you have to invest with each one of these ways. So the con for a listener membership site is it requires creating additional original content every single month, or maybe even every single week, or maybe every single day. Like if that's your thing, if you say, okay, you join my membership site, I'm going to give you behind the scenes every single day of me creating my podcast, or I'm going to give you an exclusive video every single month that's behind the scenes of my podcast. Well, you have to create that content. Like you can't just say you're going to do something and not do it. You definitely have to make sure that you are keeping up with your members, you're checking in with them, you're delivering value in some sort of way because they're paying you money. So that would be the main con for having a membership site through something like Patreon. But the pro is it can really start to pay off as your listener base grows. So even if I know that there was a podcast that someone referred me to recently, and they said at the very end, they're like, hey, at the end of the day, this podcast is a business, and in order to keep the roof over our heads, we have to make some money. So if you love the content that we produce, I encourage you to donate $1 to our Patreon account, and that'll help us keep the lights on and keep delivering this kind of content to you. I think that's great. And even if you only have, let's say, 50 listeners a month, but they contribute, then that's $50. And I don't know about y'all, but my hosting, like that covers more than my hosting fees. So that's like hosting fees for 2 months for my podcast. Done. So if that's something that you're interested in, then I encourage you to go to patreon.com and check out, they have a lot of great resources and videos for how to set everything up and how to get everything going. I actually have a Patreon account, but it's not active only because I'm trying to figure out what kind of content I can deliver that are strictly to my members. Like it's not for students, it's not for anybody else but my members only. So I do have a Patreon account. I'm not active there yet. I'm not sure exactly what kind of content I want to deliver there. So if you're crystal clear on what you want to create, then by all means, I say set up your membership site and have that ready to go on day one as soon as you launch your podcast. And like I said, it could be as simple as, hey, I appreciate it if you could, sign up to donate $1 to the cause, or if you even have a charitable organization, that's another cool thing that you could set up a Patreon account and say, hey, at the end of every month, I'm going to donate all of the funds that we collect to this certain charity. So that's another cool thing to do. All right. So the first way to make money is listener-sponsored membership sites. The second way that I use this and I love it is affiliate marketing. So what is affiliate marketing? Affiliate marketing is selling someone else's product as an affiliate. So are you already using like a product or a service that you absolutely love? I don't think that you should be an affiliate for something that you don't 100% believe in and you can stand behind it and you can tell your audience, hey guys, like I've tried this product. It's amazing. You need to try it too. Well, then see if you can get paid to endorse them. So I know lots of companies that offer commissions on products or services when you send them new customers. So that is the exact same thing that I'm talking about. So a perfect example of this is I have a planner that I absolutely love. Like if you've seen my live videos, I talk about this planner all the time and I'm an affiliate for it. So if someone purchases one of these planners through my specific affiliate link, then I receive a small commission. So it is my Living Well planner and it helps me with time blocking. Like if I were to do an affiliate promotion, let's say within this podcast, I would say something like, make sure that you grab your affiliate planner. I'm going to link to this in the show notes. And the reason why I love this planner is because it helps me time block. It helps me meal plan. It helps me stay organized and keep all of my family's activities and schedules just really clear and straight and to the point. And it helps me organize my life in so many ways. And I love it. And it is actually like, this is for real, legit. It has helped me increase my productivity by I feel 1,000%. If I look at last year compared to this year, I am so much more productive than I've ever been in my life. And it is because of this planner, 100%. Yeah, there's some mindset shifts and other things that I've done, but because I can be so focused on every single hour of the day within this planner, I'm better off. I'm playing a bigger game. I'm showing up in a different way. And I attribute so much of that to using this planner. So that is how you can endorse an affiliate product within your podcast. But the easiest place to get started, if you don't have, I'm also an affiliate for ConvertKit and Teachable and Themify and Bluehost and all these other online platforms that I use within my business on the regular. But the easiest place to get started, like if you don't have services that you love or services that you're sure, like, do they even have an affiliate program? The best, easiest place to get started is Amazon. It is actually where I first started when I started blogging a few years ago. And I would endorse books because that's what I had already read the books. I went on a kick. Was it in 2017, 2018? Like, I was reading a ton of books from the library, and I would get all of these ebooks and audiobooks, and then I would go and talk about them online, and I would grab my affiliate link through Amazon and endorse that book, and I would put the link there. So it's definitely something like I said, it's the easiest way to get started. But I told you I would have a pro and a con for each way of making money with a podcast. So the con for affiliate marketing is it takes a while to really see a steady stream of income. Like, you can't just start promoting one link and then hope that you're going to make, $1,000 off of one link as soon as you put it out there. Like, it's going to take a while. You're going to have to grow your audience, but it's possible to start making money within the first 6 months of your podcast using affiliate links if you're promoting things that your audience really connects with, and it's going to, help make their lives easier, or it's going to save them money, or it's like for my instance, for me is the planner. Like, it's going to help them increase their productivity. It's going to help them stay organized. Like, those kind of things are important to consider whenever you start off with an affiliate product or an affiliate service. So the only thing is it takes a while to see a steady stream of income. But the pro for affiliate marketing is you can get started on day one. Like, you don't have to wait around to, you just don't have to wait for it. You can get started even if you don't have a large audience. Even if you have 5 people listening to your podcast on a weekly basis and you endorse a product that they need or that they want, like, you can start making money immediately. You don't even have to wait any longer to get started with affiliate marketing. The third way to make money with a podcast is to sell your consulting services. So if you are a coach or a counselor or a CPA or any of the other service-based businesses, like if you have a one-on-one client service, then you can advertise those on your podcast. You could even offer like a free 30-minute consultation or something similar to people, like just to get them in the door, or you could offer a discount or a promotional code for people that listen to your podcast. Like, go to krystalprofit.com/podcast and get the code for you to have a free coaching call with me. Don't go to that. I mean, you can. It's my podcast website, but I'm not offering any free consultations or coaching right now, like as of recording this podcast. We're not doing that, but that was just a good example. But one of the cons is you have to set up like the back end logistics to handle the consulting appointments or the promotional codes. So there is a little bit more legwork on the back end that needs to happen before you can start promoting your services. Or you also have to consider how much time you have, because what if you start promoting this on your podcast and then you just get inundated with people that want that free offer, right? Like, they want the free consulting, or they want, to have 30 minutes of your time. And if, 20 people contact you about it, then your calendar might fill up a lot faster than you expected. And maybe it's people just looking for, a free handout and not necessarily quality coaching that you really want to offer people. So that would probably be the biggest con, is just kind of looking out for people that are serious about working for you and people that are just looking for a handout. But the great thing, the pro about offering your own services is, man, that's evergreen. It is an evergreen lead generating tool. So if you put out 100 podcast episodes and within every single one, you mentioned that you have, coaching calls, or you have a free consultation, or you have a coaching service that they could go to a specific URL to set up a call if they're serious about working with you, then that is 100 opportunities for potentially thousands of people to listen to your podcast and hear that you have this amazing offer, so it's just this evergreen thing that works, that you're not paying for. You're not running a Facebook ad to your services. You just mention it within your podcast, and you have the potential for someone to contact you and say, hey, I would love to work with you on some level. So that is what I love about promoting your own services within your podcast. The fourth way to make money with your podcast is to sell your merchandise. So disclaimer, I don't have merchandise for this podcast. I don't plan to in the near future, but it's something that people love to have. Like when people are obsessed with a product or a service, they love to tell other people about it. And what better way to do that than with like a coffee mug or a t-shirt or laptop cases or those phone pop sockets, like whatever, with your podcast logo on it. And I've seen this done really, really well, and I've seen this done really, really bad. So it's kind of, a flip of the coin on, I've seen where people want to sell merchandise and they think, like they believe in their gut that people are just chomping at the bit, waiting to buy all this product. So they go order a ton of inventory and then they're sitting on it for a long time. And I think that that's my biggest reservation with trying to sell some kind of merchandise. I don't feel like my podcast is big enough, for one. And like my listener base just is not to the point of, having a raving fan say, oh, I cannot wait to have a Profit Podcast coffee mug. Maybe you're out there. If you are, message me and, maybe I'll create something on Etsy and send it your way. But I'm not to the point of selling my merchandise. However, if you have a brick and mortar store or you already have a brand, then I think that this is a great way to build your brand and spread your message, all while providing great merchandise for your listeners. So I think that this is a cool opportunity. It just depends on where you are in your journey on whether this would work with your podcast or not. You could start selling it from day one. Like I said, I'm sharing with you all the ways you can start making money with your podcast on day one, but I would really consider, if you are to this point in your journey, that you would want to do this, because I would never want you to invest thousands of dollars in inventory and merchandise if it's not going to sell. So make sure that you make a good, smart, financial business decision to order merchandise whenever you're ready. Don't do it just to do it, because I don't think that this is a way, like, you're not going to make millions of dollars just on your merchandise. You're not George Lucas. All the Star Wars people get it. They know what I'm talking about. And I'm not even a Star Wars fan, but I am like a business. Like, I love seeing how people make millions and billions of dollars. And if you have not read the story about George Lucas, like, releasing the rights to the Star Wars movies, but keeping everything for the merchandise, talk about like the best financial decision in the history of time. But anyway, so the con of having your own merchandise to sell is you need inventory to fulfill the demand. So you have to worry about the logistics of carrying physical products. How are you going to ship them? How are you going to keep track of everything? You have to worry about taxes on the product, like all that stuff. So that would be the con. But the pro for selling your merchandise is you can create brand awareness, gain momentum with your listeners, and you just have more marketing around your podcast. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing or it's a wrong thing or it's an amazing thing. I just think that it's something that I would really consider before you jump into selling merchandise.
Being a woman in business comes with its own unique set of challenges, but also so many opportunities. we get ahead by leaning in to what makes us different from business as usual. I'm Samantha Hartley, host of Profitable Joyful Consulting, inviting you to a special 6-episode series exploring the experience of being a woman in business. You want to hear from women consultants who've hit $1 million, who sell 6-figure engagements, or who've broken their own revenue ceilings? Yeah, those are my clients, and they'll be sharing too. Join me for 6 must-listen episodes that tackle key challenges for women consultants.
Follow Profitable Joyful Consulting on your favorite podcast app.
Okay, we are here. This is my favorite thing to talk about when it comes to monetizing your podcast. So the 5th way, and the one that I really, really want to focus on, because this is what I do on this podcast and what I've done for a long time, is selling your own products. Like, this is my favorite way to make money with a podcast. You can create your own digital course. You can create an ebook. You can create other products and then promote them on your podcast. Like, it is as simple as saying, this episode is sponsored by Profit Podcasting, my digital course that teaches you how to start, launch, and market your podcast. And you can find more information about it by going to krystalprofit.com/profitpodcasting. Done, right? Like, it's as simple as that. It's so easy to promote your own products within, and when I say products, I mean digital products. I think that if you're selling physical products, you can still do it. But again, it goes back to the merchandise, like having to deal with inventory and, where are you storing these physical products, like all those things. I want to specifically talk about digital products. And I really hadn't planned to talk about this, but it just came up. I have used platforms like Shopify, and I know that there's WooCommerce. I know that there's a few other platforms out there that help you sell your digital products, because not all websites, I'm going to get techie for you for a second, but not all websites are designed as to be like a front for like an e-commerce store. And I actually don't suggest trying to set that all up yourself. I personally would rather pay a little bit more to have a platform like Shopify handle all of the payments and handle, like, if something messes up during the transaction, that all goes through Shopify, and I'm not responsible for contacting someone if their card is declined. Like, that is all through Shopify. So that is the one I've used. It's the one I would recommend if you have something like an ebook, or you're selling like a course that only is like PDFs or like a workbook. If you're doing that, definitely go through Shopify. Now, if you're selling a digital course, you could look into platforms like Teachable. It is what I use for my course, and I'll link to all of this in the show notes. But Teachable is the one that I use. It's the one that I endorse. I think it's great. There's some other great platforms out there, but that is the one that I've created multiple courses, and it's just so easy to use. And the only con, I will say, with selling your digital products is time. It's time, it's money, it's energy that goes into actually creating the product. And these resources may be limited already for you, right? You're just like, Krystal, I'm so strapped. I'm exhausted when I get home from work, or I'm just trying to keep my head above water doing this podcast. Like, I totally get it. I get it. I hear you. I see you. We are one and the same, like, people. However, if you can create a product around your podcast and promote it within your podcast, then it's less likely that you'll even need sponsors down the road. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you can create something, and I'm not saying you have to create a full-blown digital course. If you can just create an ebook that is $10, $20 and you promote it within your podcast, then as long as it aligns with your listeners and what they come to you for, like, why are people listening to your podcast? Are they trying to learn something? Are they trying to be educated? Are they trying to just kind of get, like maybe funny videos. That just made me think of the membership site. You could deliver funny videos to them or something, like ones that you don't put on YouTube, but you only deliver specifically to your members. But, it's just, it's going to take a little bit of time, and you just have to think of what your goals are for your podcast. Are you doing this to make money? If you're not, then this episode has no relevancy for you other than you just learned 5 ways to make money with a podcast. You can tell your friend to come listen to this episode if it's going to help them. But I believe that selling your products is just, it's endless opportunities, really. I mean, and that's why I love talking about this, because you've heard me promote my own digital course on this podcast, but down the road, if I wanted to have a membership site, then I could promote that. If I wanted to have another course, which I'm working on another course that's specifically about launching a podcast, and you'll probably hear about it on this podcast because I can do that. I can do that within my own episode. I don't have to worry about, if a sponsor comes to me and says, okay, I want you to promote this product for this amount of time on this many episodes. We'd like for you to say something like this. Like, no one's telling me exactly how to talk about something whenever it's my own product or service. So that is the pro. I guess I said the con. I didn't say the pro, but I kind of just said it. You're not limited to what you can say, how many times you can promote it, or how you choose to talk about your own products. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, how the 5 ways you can make money with your podcast. And I know that there are a ton of other ways. Like, I'm sure that there's probably 1,000 other ways that you can make money with your podcast, but I can tell you from experience that these are the easiest ways to get started. It's the easiest way. Like, it's just, besides the merchandise, I guess that's the only one I actually have not ordered anything that I've sold. I've ordered stuff whenever this was the Rookie Life podcast, but I didn't actually sell those things. I gave them away. So I have dealt with merchandise, as in having inventory and having stuff at my house physically and then having to ship them. I've created a book before, and I've done a lot of other things that are on here, but these are just so easy to get started. So if your goal is to financially support your lifestyle or your family with your podcast, then this is a great way to get started. I'm not saying that you can start doing all of these things and overnight you're going to have a full-time income, but dollars add up. Dollars and cents add up. And I want to encourage you to start experimenting with some of these things on your podcast, and go to krystalprofit.com/episode 87, and you're going to see all the links and all the things that we talked about here today. But I want to do a quick recap of everything that we talked about. So the 5 ways you can make money is listener-sponsored membership sites. I want you to check out affiliate marketing. Go sign up for Amazon affiliates. It's free. You can start promoting stuff. Like, guys, this is a great time if you're listening to this when this episode goes live, because Christmas is right around the corner. Like, the holidays are coming up, and people are going to be looking for recommendation for gifts. So if you know something that is related to your industry that you can start promoting that is an Amazon product, like, this is a great time to start doing that. Start promoting that on your podcast. The third thing that we talked about is selling your consulting services. The fourth thing is selling your merchandise. And the fifth is selling your products. So that does it for today. So if this is your first time tuning in, I'd love for you to subscribe and hear what other fun things we'll be talking about in the coming weeks. Another thing, and this is something fun and new that I would love for you to try, is take a screenshot wherever you're listening to this and share it out on social media. Tag me in it, because then I would love to share your post, and I would love to hear what you think about the show. So wherever you're listening to this podcast, please consider leaving a review, because it's how we get this message out in front of more people. Tell us what you loved about this episode. Tell me your favorite episode, or just tell me what other topics you want to hear us talk about in the future. Be sure to sign up for the 5-day podcast bootcamp if you have not already done so. Check out our other great resources in the resource library, and the show notes for this episode are at krystalprofit.com/episode 87. But remember, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere. Hey, Profit Podcast listeners. Thanks for sticking around to a little bit after the episode to hear this special message, because I want to hear from you. We are starting a new segment called Fan Mail Shoutouts, and I want to hear from you, and I want to hear your questions. What do you want to know? What questions have you been dying to ask me? So here's how to make this happen. Go to the app where you're listening to this podcast right now. Go there. I'll wait a second. Okay. Now, once you're there, you're going to see a hyperlink at the top of the episode description that says, "Send Krystal a text message." And that's all I want you to do. Send me a text. It could be casual, informal. It could be totally anonymous. Or if you want, you can include your name and the name of your podcast or content wherever you are creating, and I will give you a special shout out in an upcoming episode. So again, go to the show notes for where you're listening to this episode right now, and it will say, "Send Krystal a text message." And I cannot wait to hear from you and give you a shout out in an upcoming segment of Fan Mail Shoutouts.